Hey everyone. So I wanted to make a quick video on the process of getting started. What steps should you do? What is the quickest way to profitability? And what are some ways of dealing with emotion? I think one of the hardest things for people to grasp is obviously emotion. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in video. One of the things I wanted to mention just before we start, this is gonna be a part one and a part two video, and I'm gonna just show you the steps basically to what you should be focusing on, and how do you know you're ready to move on to the next step. Just before we start that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the people in our community, the people that have come and gone, and just a little bit of statistics, just to let you guys know where the average person is. 90% of you have never completed the course. 90%. 85% of you have only logged in once or twice. The reason I'm giving you these statistics is people expect miracles from not putting in any effort, and I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't work like that. So, it's gonna sound like I'm giving you guys shit in this video. It's probably because I am. And it's not to be a dick. It's because I truly want to see you guys succeed. And I think step one of succeeding is you need to understand what to do, what steps to do it in, and why you're doing it. And I'm going to lay that out for you guys in this video. I had a fella message me a while ago. He's no longer in our community. He left. But he told me market structure didn't make sense to him, and none of the course made sense to him, and it just he's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. So I went and logged into his teachables, and I wanted to see how far he got, and he was on the second video, and at that point he had already given up. He told me it didn't make sense. This was also, I think, day 2 or 3 of his membership. For the next 27 days of his membership, he didn't log in once. Basically, without beating this over the head too much, I just want to tell you guys this does absolutely work. Like anything, that's going to require you to do work. I'll show you the way. I'll guide you. I'm going to lay out a step-by-step system for you to do, but I can't do your push-ups for you. If you want to go to the gym and you want to get buff, well, it requires you actually going to the gym. It requires you sleeping. It requires you having a proper diet. If you just go to the gym once a week for a half hour, are you going to grow? Probably not. Forex is no different. I think a lot of people hop from community to community, and they just think they're going to find this magic pill where they watch this 5-minute video and they think they're just going to get lucky. That could happen. Very unlikely, though. So, instead of that, I'm going to tell you how to get lucky. You got to work hard. And the harder you work, the luckier you're going to get. And again, step one of doing anything is having a plan. So, let's begin with part one of this video. And the very first thing you need to do is learn all the content. For some of you, you may have to watch the content 2, 3, 4, 5 times, but without watching the content, you're really not going to have a base of anything to work with. The next thing is you're not going to know what you don't know if you haven't gone through the content. Whereas if you've gone through the content multiple times and you come to me, you're like, hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain it? At least we know what you don't understand, and we can either create more content, I can explain it in a Q&A, I can explain it on a chart, whatever has to happen, you'll have my support. But you can't have my support if you don't know what you need help with. So to know what you need help with, you need to learn all the content. That means you log in more than once. That means you watch every video multiple times. And that means you ask lots of questions about what you had learned. And just another fun statistic too, from the people that I have coached from our group, I could honestly say maybe one or two finished the course. And the reason I know this is all the questions in the coaching calls were basically in the first half of the course. And yeah, it all goes back to learning the content. You're going to save yourself money, you're going to save yourself a headache, and the goal is to be profitable. You can't get profitable if you don't know what you're doing. And you can't know what you're doing if you didn't watch the content. So that's step one. Step two. Develop the process of the following trading plan. So everything you just learned, you're going to create a trading plan that works for you. I can't tell you what this trading plan needs to be. You need to tell yourself what your trading plan needs to be. If you can only handle one loss a day, I guess you're only taking one trade a day, and if you lose, you're coming back tomorrow. If you can handle 2 or 3, you could maybe make, a maximum 3 trade rule a day. Whatever your confines are, whatever your psychology is capable of handling, you got to work within it. And ultimately, you got to remember that the very first and the most important thing is risk management. If you manage your risk correctly, you should be able to lose the first 3-4 days of the week and still be profitable in a trade or two. And that is the idea. You don't lose too much because you have to cover all your losses. It's okay to lose, and it's okay to lose all the time, but it's not okay to lose, 14 trades in a day or something stupid. So yeah, develop the process of the following trading plan. The next step is backtesting the content and practicing repetition of the following steps. By the way, this is this is my second time making this video. I had just made it for you guys, and I recorded it without my mic being on. So this time I'm doing it with the mic on, which is, always ideal. So step 4, demo trading, taking hard TPs. Notice the word demo trading. This does not mean you go buy a $200,000 challenge. You don't put all your life savings in the account, just start trading. Demo trading. Taking hard TPs. The thing with hard TPs is they take the emotion out of the trade. So we could say hard TP 3R, 4R, 5R, 6R, somewhere in that neighborhood. You should find a number you're happy with, and you are going to close the trade out in full when it hits your desired R. Somewhere in between 3 to 5 is probably a good place to start. When I first got consistent with smart money, every one of my trades was a 2-pip stop and a 10-pip run. It didn't matter if the trade ran another 20R after. I'd hit my 5R, and then I'd look for another 5R setup. And what this did is it always made me take profit. So some people don't know where to take their profit to. Some people, they get too greedy and they don't close their trade, or they close it too early. You are going to practice hard TPing every trade. And no, it doesn't have to stay like this. This is just the building blocks to your profitability and trade management. Step 5, you are going to start live trading. Taking hard TPs. when I say live trading, keep the account relatively small. You're still in the building and learning phases. You know, you don't need to be trading a $40,000 account. Trade a $200-300 account, something that's reasonable. You're still learning, so this shouldn't be a huge account yet. Step 6, demo. Step 6, demo, trading, leaving, runners. So this is going to look something like this. We're just going to pick a random number to give you an example. Say you chose 4R for your hard TP. Now, rather than closing your trade out full and at 4R, you're going to maybe close 60%. And then you're going to leave a runner on. What this is going to do is start training you to hold trades longer while also extracting profits from the market. And these are just hypothetical numbers. It doesn't have to be 4R and it doesn't have to be 60%. What those numbers are completely up to you. The point is we're just trying to work in steps of what you should be doing. The next thing you're going to do is live trading, leaving runners on. So that's part 1. It all starts with learning the content. That means you got to show up, you got to put in the work, and you're going to watch as many times as it takes for it to make sense, and then you're going to ask questions until it makes sense. That's what the community's for. You're paying for it, use it, and it's just going to benefit you in the long run. Part 2 is people don't know the order of importance of things when they're going through the content. What is the absolute most important thing that you should be learning before you do anything? Meaning that if you don't understand this one thing, you don't move on. It's market structure. Focus on learning market structure. I beat this part over the head during the course for I think like 2 or 2.5 hours. The reason is this is the building block of everything. If you do not get market structure, it's going to be really hard for you to consistently develop a trade plan and have anything to guide you. This is the one most important thing in the whole course. If you choose to be lazy and skip steps, that's on you, but this is one step you can't skip. You have to learn market structure. It's going to give you an idea of where price is likely to go. Perfect. So that's step 1, market structure. Step 2. Add in supply and demand. Interactions. Learning how supply and demand works hand in hand with market structure. And what this will do is it'll give you a why, giving you a why to the movements. Because if you can understand the why, you can start training your eyes of what's happening, and you'll start noticing how the same thing happens over and over. You know, the market's pretty repetitive. It's just understanding what it's doing and what cycle it's currently in. Alright, step 3. Focus on adding in multi-time frame analysis to see how the lower time frame is just a more detailed projection of the, you know what, let's say interaction of the higher time frame. Perfect. Step 4, and this is often overlooked, it shouldn't be, understanding pricing. What you need to understand that every time you hit the buy or sell button in the Forex market, it is an investment. For an investment to work out, the traditional rules are pretty simple. You buy low, you sell high, you get rid of your position low. And that is how you make money on an investment. So, when we say understanding pricing, it means focus on premium versus discount. If something's been going up for, let's say, you know, GBP USD's been going up for 2 sessions straight and it hasn't retraced at all, even though it's bullish, is it in your best interest to continue buying? Or would you say it's very premium price and maybe you're going to wait for a setup to sell, and when it comes back into discount, then do you want to buy it? And it's understanding where you are, and even if that means you sit out the session and not take a trade, then that's what you do. There's nothing worse than overpaying for an investment, because it's just hard to make money in it when you overpaid for it. So understanding pricing, focus on premium versus discount to see where price is likely to go. Alright. Pretty straightforward stuff, but I think if we lay it out for everybody, then people will just have kind of an idea of how to start. The next step is add liquidity to help find good POIs. So if you're going on a road trip, your vehicle is going to require fuel. Liquidity is that fuel. You're going to fuel up your car, and you're going from point A to point B, wherever you're going. Without that fuel in the car, though, you can't get from point A to point B. So the market's the exact same way. It requires liquidity to move. You need liquidity. It needs to be swept. And when liquidity is taken and your POI has been tapped, you now have fuel for the move. So whether that's going down or up, once the move is fueled, it is more likely to move in your direction with some force behind it. And we make money on volatility. So if the market's not sweeping any liquidity and there's no volatility and it's just kind of moving sideways, you may just choose to stay out till there is volatility. Number 6, focus on adding in M1 entries using chalks and flips. Very simple. What I often see people do is they start with step 6 and they skip the other 5 steps, and then they wonder why all their 1 minute entries are losses. And then they'll message me and tell me it didn't work and that the course doesn't work, which is why we're here at this particular video right now. I assure you it works, but for it to work, you gotta work, and you have to follow some sort of a system. So this will be the system for you to follow, and the rest will be up to you. Now, number 7, you may choose to never do it. It's not a necessity. You don't need it to make good money in the markets. Some of you may choose to do so. Learn the seconds if you choose to do so. This is not a necessity. Like, I trade on the seconds, and I can tell you right now, it is not necessary. This is not something you have to do. Totally up to you. But these are the steps. These are the basic steps. You may choose to modify this. You may keep this exactly the way it is. That's completely up to you. But I think if you guys have a good starting point, it'll just help you succeed faster. The last thing I want to mention too is a realistic timeline. People message me all the time, and do you think I can get profitable in a month? No, you can't. You just can't. Even if you understand the system and you've learned the content, you still got to go through actual time in the market. Understand how the market moves. Understand the cycles. Understand what it's doing. You're always trying to find a way to control your emotion, and you're always dealing with psychology issues. And then, it's like good week, bad week. And you have to go through all this, and you have to keep refining until you have a system that works. I can tell you right now, out of the majority of the guys I coach that are profitable, the majority of them all pay themselves at 3R, 4R, 5R, 6R, and leave a runner on. None of them hold shooting for 25R each time. Doesn't mean they don't hold partials to 25R. They've been in the market enough that they know they need to secure profits. Let's say you hit a 4R, then you hit a 5R, then you hit another 4R. You're at 13R on 3 trades, and then you take a couple losses and minus commissions, you're at 9R. That's good money. On a funded account, that's good money. Whereas versus you're holding, looking for that 20, 30, 40R, whatever the case may be. Your hit rate's not going to be very high. Your psychology's going to go to shit. And then you're going to be back to being, this doesn't work, this is stupid, blah, blah, blah. This is it. You want to be successful, you want to be profitable, you need to have laws laid down for how you're going to get paid. What is your guaranteed method to getting paid? Okay, at 3R, I'm taking 50%. At 4R, I'm taking 50%, 60%, whatever. At 5R, I'm closing 70% of my trade every time. Whatever that number may be, that number needs to get repeated each time, but you need to have a secured method for extracting profits. Or you could even, it's a range-bound market. None of the trades are really moving today. I'm going to hard TP everything at 4 or 5R. It's just not a day to get greedy. The market's not trending. Or it's Friday. I'm just going to head off 1 4 or 5R. Or it's Tokyo. It's not really moving. I'm just going to settle for 4 or 5R. You need to have some sort of a foundation of how you're going to get paid. If you don't have that foundation, you'll fail. And I don't mean to crush your dreams. It's just how it is. You need to have a system to get paid. Once in a while, I'll do good, and then I'll start shooting for 10 and 15 Rs, and all of a sudden I'll start breaking even on trades that were 6, 7, 8, 9R in profit, and this week I gave 25R back to the market. So starting next week, I'm going back to being very strict on paying myself sooner, and just not giving realized profits back to the market when you don't have to. So that's kind of partially where this video idea came from. Partially it came from another member I was talking to, and we just thought if we lay a system out for people and they have something to follow, then maybe they will. So I won't beat this over the head too much more, guys. I think I've made my point. And on the plus side, I think take 2 is about 15 minutes shorter than the first video I made, so maybe it's good I redid it. We'll end this video here, guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all tomorrow during backtesting.